Hi, everybody. Jim Haggerty with ADE. It is Tuesday, June 3rd. Wanted to give an update regarding the transition from the PASS software to the GARRP software as the delivery system for the needs assessment in the risk reduction program. We had a very productive meeting with DDS today. We've been in contact with DDS throughout this entire process as we've sort of navigated through this very unique and fluid situation. What I want to talk about today is our beginning to scale back some of the features of the GARRP program to simplify that program and to remove some of the features that may have been necessary during this era of social distancing during the pandemic, but will not be necessary going forward. As you know, going back to March, we developed this software application for two reasons, really. One, the PASS application is an older software application. They have a shelf life, and from time to time, those software applications need to be upgraded. And two, we wanted to make sure that risk reduction programs could continue to function even if their students weren't coming to their brick and mortar location. And it was toward that end that we developed some of the optional features in the GARRP program. Things like remote registration and class schedules and electronic signing of documents and having the client have the ability to pay directly through the application. All of those things that were very useful in the GARRP application. But admittedly, made that application more complicated than the previous PASS application. So today we started talking about scaling some of that back. As more and more students, and what our information tells us is that the majority of students are coming to a brick and mortar location for registration, for the needs assessment, for class. And so some of those additional features that were optional to begin with now will be scaled back. For example, we will be, over the next couple of weeks, trimming some of those things, starting with the ability for the student to make payment remotely. Based on our conversation with DDS today, we will be removing the ability for the student to make payment for risk reduction program services directly through the ADE application. Now, there weren't that many schools that were doing that anyway. But if you were one of the schools that was taking advantage of that service, you're welcome to contact us outside of this message, and we can talk about some alternatives for you to accomplish that same thing. It just won't be done through the ADE application. The other features, such as electronic signing of the assessment contract and the intervention contract, eventually will also not be available through the GARRP application. DDS guidelines require that there be a signed hard copy in a student file in a brick and mortar location, and so we will be removing eventually the electronic signature on those contracts. You'll notice some other changes as well, but the good news is I think that it will streamline the process and return the risk reduction program software to its core function, which is that of delivering the needs assessment. So if you are one of the many schools who have started using GARRP, you will notice some changes over the next couple of weeks. Those of you that were taking advantage of those additional features, we can talk to you about that individually. Some of those features will be going away. For those of you who have been using the risk reduction program software only to deliver the needs assessment, you won't notice much change at all. For those of you that have not yet converted from the PASS system to the GARRP system, I want to encourage you to do that just as soon as possible. We want to make sure that we get everybody on the same platform, but I think you'll find that completing the needs assessment in the new GARRP application. It's a bit of an improved process from that past application. Additionally, there is an additional entry method called the guided entry method that goes along with having the written entry method and the interactive method. So there's an advantage to the new application, and one of the bigger advantages is, if you haven't moved over yet, one of the bigger advantages you'll experience is that you no longer will have to pre-purchase assessment licenses. So I think that helps cash flow for the schools. I think that's a pretty significant advantage as well. So to sum up, there's going to be some changes to the new GARRP program as we scale back some of the optional features that were useful during the pandemic but may not be as useful going forward. We will continue to have conversations with DDS. There may be some movement toward adding some of these features back in going forward, but if we do, we'll do that in a way that makes sense and in a way that isn't cumbersome. I want to thank you for your patience over the last 2.5 months. It was our intention to help the schools continue to function during this time, and I think we've done that. Many of you have expressed some positive response to the new application. Some of you have expressed concern about the speed at which we were moving, or some of the features that may have appeared to complicate the process. I can appreciate both of those sentiments. This is, as I said, a fluid situation, but we are moving forward now to sort of scale back. The new GARRP program, though, is the delivery system for the needs assessment. We are moving away from PASS, and we are going to, we've already removed the ordering function for new assessments in the old PASS application as a way of moving toward this new application. If you have any concerns about your individual situation, of course, we're happy to talk to you. We're going to make sure that you're comfortable with the move. But that's the news for today. We'll check in with you over the next few days and weeks as this continues to take shape. But thanks again for your patience, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.